Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadhaline Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Hi there. Today we're talking about the Vedas. So what are the Vedas? Where are they from and what do they say? That's what we're going to try and cover here. So some of you might know that the Vedas are found in India. So you can find, they're written in Sanskrit, ancient Indian language, and it's primarily found there. Although we have found many deities and Vedic statues and temples actually all over the world. However, we should understand that India is the central hub of the Vedas, and many of the stories that are spoken of in the Vedas are said to have happened in India. So that's another reason why it is a central hub for the Vedic tradition. So, what do the Vedas say of their origin? So the Vedas say that in the beginning of creation, the universe was empty, and there was nothing here except for one being who was born from the Supreme Lord, from his mind. So the Supreme Lord creates billions of universes and places one being at the top of all these universes. So that being is called Brahma. So he is sitting there and he is looking around and he has no memory, just like a child, thinking, where is everything, what's happening? And then he hears from his voice, from his heart, from inside, a voice that says ta pa. So tapa is the word which means austerities or deep meditation. So then Lord Brahma, he decided to meditate, and for many thousands of years he was there, and until one day he became pure and he gained access to the spiritual world. At that time he had an audience with the Lord directly, and the Lord told him the Vedas, and he spoke to him this Vedas, and with this understanding, with the knowledge of the Vedas, he was able to create all these things within the universe, all the dimensions, the worlds, the living entities, all the different things. So, and then different entities create different things with those different things. So on and on. So he gained that knowledge, the Vedas, through the direct words of the Lord. So we should understand that the Vedas were the direct instructions from the Lord. So Brahma, he after he came back, he started to have mind-born sons. So he would create sons from his mind. Yeah. So at this level, we're speaking about celestial beings. We're not talking about beings like us. Yeah. So he was a celestial being. He created many mind-born sons. Yeah, progenitors of the universe. They're called Prajapatis, and he so he created many of them. One of them is the great, as he called, the great sage among the demigods. So he is the sage among celestials, and he's known. He's in many of the stories. His name's Narad Muni. So he is one of the mind-born sons of Brahma, and he was very religious and very pious. So he wanted to understand the spiritual knowledge. So he then went to Brahma, and Brahma explained to him the Vedas. And then Narad Muni had many disciples who he then spoke the Vedas to, and in this way, the Vedas were spread in the universe. So, 5,000 years ago, one sage was born, and he was also an avatar of the Lord, which we'll talk about in another video. What is avatar? And he was an incarnation of the Lord as a sage. So he came with a few specific reasons. Firstly, he came to preserve the Vedas. So he foresaw down the line that if the Vedas continued as an oral tradition, which it was at that time, it would become lost. So therefore, he decided that he would write down the Vedas, and he would compose all the Puranas and compile the information that was already known by the sages. So he did that. And so this is where we get the writings of the Vedas, the Puranas, because he actually wrote them down 5,000 years ago. So what does that include? Yeah. So it includes 18 Puranas, so 18 books, in the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance for different people at different levels. Include the Mahabharata, which is the great epic poem he wrote, which is the story of what was happening at the time and before. And then he has Upanishads. Yeah. Then you have the also have the Ramayana, which he didn't write but was still there. Yeah. So with all these scriptures, oh, and the four Vedas of, yeah, and we also have the four Vedas, which are actually about preserving the rituals of the sacrifices and stuff like that. So the Puranas contain the histories and the ancient stories. The epics such as Ramayana and Mahabharata, they contain also history, but also they contain the wisdom of sages and many different people. So this is both in Puranas and epics. The Vedas are the four Vedas contain the rituals and sacrifices, and so all of this we can consider to be Vedic literature. Yeah. So if you read all of this, you will understand. But however, this is extremely, this is very voluminous. So many books are there. So we recommended that we read the Bhagavad Gita, which is a chapter from the Mahabharata. This is called the foundation level of the Vedic spiritual knowledge. So if we read Bhagavad Gita, that means God's song. So if we read Bhagavad Gita, then we will understand the basics of the Vedas. So I'm going to leave it there, and if there's any questions, just write it down, and yeah, I'll try and make a video to explain things that are not covered. So okay, I guess I'll see you next time. Haribol.